Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Watercolor Wednesday. I'm Leslie Watkins. I have these leaves that I collected from one of the trees, and you can see that they also have these beautiful little, and I'm not sure if these are, they look like crab apples to me, but I'm not exactly sure what they are. These are not from Dandelion Cottage. These are from a place in town. But I thought they were so pretty. They've gotten a little bit dried up, but you know, that's what happens this time of year. And I thought that it would be fun to just create a pretty border using these things, maybe add a little touches of gold or something to it to jazz it up. But I want to make some place settings for Thanksgiving, and I thought this would be a great subject for that. So I'm going to get some paper. So this is a cold press watercolor paper, and it's 140 pounds, so it's got some body to it. And what I thought I would do would be to create a border down the center and paint it and then cut it up into individual place settings. I'm going to need at least 7, but I'm going to go ahead and make 8 just in case, so I have an extra one. So the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of take a look. I'm going to zoom you in so that you can see better. Wrong way. There we go. So my center line is going to be right through here. So I want to make sure that I've get plenty of image on both sides of my center line. So I'm going to begin with my beautiful crab apples, because I want to make sure that I have plenty of those on both sides of the line. And maybe what I'll do is create a kind of a branch so I have some structure that I can adhere all the different elements to. So there's a little something. I think you can just barely make that out. It'll get easier to see once the painting begins. So is everybody out there getting ready for Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving is tomorrow, so there will not be a Paper Crafting Thursday for tomorrow, and I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope you have something special planned. The tall man is making a pecan pie, pumpkin pie. He always makes pumpkin pies, but he also occasionally will make me a pecan pie because that is my favorite, so I'm excited about that. And it sounds like it's going to be a really nice group of people. We have 3 people that we haven't met before joining us. 2 of them are from France, and so that will be fun. What is everybody else doing for Thanksgiving? Are people out there busy cooking right now? I expect there's probably not a lot of you viewing in. Let's take a quick look and see if anybody's out there. Yeah, I don't see anybody at the moment. That's not a surprise. So basically what I'm doing here as I'm designing these shapes is I'm keeping the sides clear because I'm going to be doing a little heat embossing there. So I'll be doing some stamping, and maybe you'll say something like Happy Thanksgiving or grateful, or one of the appropriate sentiments. And I'm not going to paint the entire thing in the video today. I'm just going to show you enough to get started. And if you'd like to see all of the materials that I'm using, I will have a link below. But in the meantime, please make sure that you have joined the Watercolor and Stampin' Up! Paper crafting group, because there is a place there where you will be able to post your designs and maybe win a prize. So all you have to do is comment below so I recognize your name. Let me know where you're tuning in from, and then go ahead and look up the Watercolor and Stampin' Up! Project private Facebook group and ask to be invited in. And when I see your name and I recognize it, I will let you into the group. And there's a lot going on in there. I'm going to be having a contest and where you can win some free product prizes. And I'm also going to be announcing some changes and what you can do to take advantage of the new opportunities that are coming right up. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, please go there. It's a group that was designed specifically for creators who enjoy doing watercolor, or maybe you've always wanted to learn how to watercolor and didn't know where to start. And also, if you are a paper crafter who has a large stash of product that you'd like to start using up, that's the main purpose of the group is to provide inspiration and projects that'll help you use up your materials and make some beautiful things that your friends and family will love. If you're a Stampin' Up! Demo, and it doesn't matter if you're retired or active, but if you're a business demo, you're also going to find some great ideas for how you can offer more tips and tricks and techniques in your classes and workshops that will enable you to give a broader offering. So lots of things going on there. Please check it out. I think that's enough sketching right now. So I'm going to put the pencil down, and I'm just going to put some of my leaves here for inspiration. The color of these leaves is so beautiful. You see how it's just these gorgeous golden sort of russet hues, and I just love these colors. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. And I'm going to zoom you out a little bit. So here are my watercolors. So I have red, yellow, and blue. Now remember, whenever I do these paintings, if you are using the water-based inks, so the ones that come in the little bottles like this, the liquid inks, you can use these just the same way. So you can get started without having a lot of extra materials. And today I'm going to use my brush, Hold on, we've got a bad little cat here that looks like she's about to jump on the surface of the desk here. Hopefully she'll stay next to me. So in my watercolor sketchbook, just want to see what we have coming up here. This is the Christmas page. That's coming right up. I do have some room over here that I could fill up. But I have a little pocket on the side where I can put my brushes, and that helps to keep them handy and protected. All right, so to get started, move this over a tiny bit so you can see everything. There we go. So I've got my three colors, and I can give them a little bit of a spritz to help them get started. Got my brushes. I have a couple of container of water off to the side. Okay, so I've got two, one for clean water, one for dirty water, and I have a damp sponge. And I also have some paper towels handy just in case. I like to use these super absorbent ones. And I'm going to begin by just mixing a kind of a neutral tone. So I'm going to get some, I'm going to take all three of my primary colors. So here's my yellow, and I'm just using up what's on the palette. So this muddy paint that's on the palette is just the thing that I need. And that's looking pretty close to what I want. I'm going to grab some of these cooler tones over here. Make sure my red is wet. I also have, for those of you who would like to get a beautiful Christmas gift for the creative people in your life, I have some of the watercolor kits, the starter kits, ready to go. And they have everything in them that you'd need to get started. Just add water and you'll be all set. Or maybe you're someone who has always wanted to begin watercolor, and you're looking at this winter as a good time to do that, and it would be a great time for you to do that, and you get one for yourself. But I will have a link below in the comments to where you can find out more about the watercolor paint box. If you don't want to wait, you can go to watercolorpaintbox.com, and all the information is on there. Make a great Christmas present for somebody special, or for yourself, because you're pretty special, and if you've waited a long time to get started, and now's the time, don't wait any longer. All right, so now I've got some nice pools of color on my palette, and I'm going to begin with a warm pale tone. Now I'm using plenty of water, so this is a really watered down version. All right, so I can remove paint from the brush, clean my brush, so I've got nothing but a wet brush here, and then I'm just going to pick up some of this wet mixture here, and I'm just going to begin to paint a wash over the leaf shapes and the crab apples. And I'm keeping it kind of broken. I'm not connecting everything too well, and I'm not worried about staying in the lines. I'm just want a kind of a lively, warm, basic wash that's going to help me to see the design better and give me a nice base to work out of, and I'm keeping it super light. There are some areas on the crab apple that I want to reserve for the highlight areas, so I'm going around those places. when you set up your place to paint, if you can do it in such a way that you have a north light window like I do, that's ideal. You don't want direct sunlight coming in and hitting your surface, because then you wouldn't be able to see what you were doing. And if you are using electric light, then you might want to see if you get some color corrected lights. I have a pair of OTT lights on my desk that are pretty good. OTT, you can get those anywhere. And there are others, but mostly I don't worry about it so much, because I always paint when I have natural light, because that's what I love. I'm a classically trained north light painter, and so my studio is designed all around the direction of light. And so once you get yourself all set up like that, and if you don't have all that in the beginning, that's okay too. Don't let that stop you. But when you do have it set up, in my case, I've got the light, you can see the shadow. So the light is coming from the left, casting a shadow across my desk to the right, okay? And as a right-handed person, I want the light coming from the left, so that the shadow from my hand and my brush is going away from the picture that I'm working on. If you're left-handed, then you want to have the light coming from the right, and the shadow then will be going off the other way. All right, so there is my first wash. And next I'm going to, this is going to be the 1, 2, 3 watercolor, okay? So light, medium, and dark, yellow, red, and blue. And the next stage, I'm just mixing up a slightly darker tone, and now I'm just going to start going back in. And what I'm doing here is I'm just creating some areas where the shadow will be. Okay, so this is the shadow side of the leaves and the little crab apples. And again, I'm keeping this very sketchy. This is not meant to be a very fussy sort of photographic impression of what I'm looking at. What I'm hoping to achieve here is just a nice, loose, sketchy quality that I can then go in and add some added embellishment at the end. And when I say embellishment, what I'm talking about is gold. All right, so I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to use, but I think that these gorgeous warm tones, these autumnal warm tones, work so beautifully with the gold accent. And because we're going to be having this lovely table setting, I want those little sparkles and shimmers. I'm just going to go across very quickly, get this started. So hopefully you'll be able to see what the overall design will look like. I'm going back into some of these areas and just softening those edges so that they blend a little bit better. When you join the watercolor and Stampin' Up! Paper Crafting private group, there will be an announcement very soon about how you can participate in a free introduction to watercolor class. It'll be a video tutorial, and you can watch it whenever you like, whenever you get a few minutes. I know that this is a busy time of year. It's absolutely free for all the people that have been commenting and sharing their work in the group, and it's open to anybody. So if you're interested in watercolor and paper crafting, and particularly if you have a lot of Stampin' Up! Product, which a lot of us do, you'll be able to post there and be inspired and see what everybody else is doing. But you'll also be able to take advantage of this offer for a free introduction to watercolor, and that's going to be available for a limited time. It's just going to be available in a month, in December, for a month. So now's your chance. If you have any questions about any of that, or if you're having trouble finding the group, just send me a message, and I'll give you more information. Alright, so this is looking pretty good so far. I'm going to hold this up closer to the camera so that you can see it a little bit better in just a second. Just trying to maintain a nice sort of a rhythm going across the page, and I want to be sure that the values, the lights and the darks, and the tones are pretty well represented across the way there. So there we go. That's the just the beginning. So I've got my sketch, I've put down my very light wash, and now I've started adding a few of the little accent areas and the shadow areas. So now what I can do is I can take a darker mixture, yet just a little bit darker, this time a little more blue, a little less yellow. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do a little more drawing. So I'm going to add some of these little stems. The crab apples have these beautiful long stems, and I'm using the tip of my brush now to add those. Also the stem to the leaves, and a little bit of the veining that's on the leaves. So just a couple of lines here and there. Very easy to do. Let me give you a close-up so you can see a little bit better. Okay, so for instance, I've got this leaf right here. I'm just indicating where the central vein is and how it attaches to my branch, and then I can pick out some of these little lateral veins like so. And a little more shadow along this edge where the leaf is kind of curling around away from the light. And there's a crab apple in the shadows here that I don't want to lose. There we go. And some of these crab apples have a slightly different color. Some are darker. These are the older ones that are getting a little bit wrinkly. And and then there are the more golden ones and the reddish ones. So I can go back in later and I can add glazing to the top of some of these features just to help to increase the color. So let me give you an example of that. So let's take this crab apple here. If I want that to have more of a yellow tone, I can take some of my transparent yellow watercolor and just run that right over the top, and that's going to make that appear more yellow. If I take some of my red and just glaze that over the top of this crab apple next to it, I can make that a little bit redder. Okay, now I don't know how well you can see that. There you go, I think you can see that. All right, so this is the one that's a little more yellow, this one's a little more red. Can add a little more shadow here and there. All right, so I like the way this is looking so far. And I'm just going to continue on with this, just as you see me doing, just developing my drawing, developing my shapes, adding more color and value. When I say value, I'm talking about the darkness of colors, so I'll be increasing the darker areas, okay, like you see me doing here. See, I can get that much darker, but I want to be sparing with that. I don't want everything to be dark. I just want some of these beautiful little accents here and there, because that's going to help create the illusion of light, and it's going to give the design an overall kind of a sparkling effect that's going to look very pretty. And then finally, once I'm done doing all this, I'm going to add some gold accent. So I will show that to you in the finished thumbnail. This is enough, I think, for you to get started today if you'd like to do something like this. And it is a lot of fun. Here's my beautiful inspiration from nature. Okay, my beautiful golden and russet leaves. There you go. Now, I can't wait to see what you do with yours. Get outside and look in the garden, go to the park and see what's lingering on the leaves, on the trees, on the shrubs, and all the places, and I'm sure you'll be able to find something that would be pretty to paint. So I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving. I will see you next week on Wednesday for Watercolor Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. And I suspect we'll be doing something related to Christmas then. So stay well, stay happy, stay creative, and I will see you next time.